Tonight, Monday, April 2nd, 2001. Gang gunfire stops mail delivery in a Chicago suburb.
At that time, I didn't want to talk to, somebody I didn't know.
The top women's tennis player in the world faces an accused stalker in court. Her dream came true, seeing opening day at Wrigley Field, thanks to Walter's help. Are you hitting road bumps on the information superhighway? We've got the bottom line on internet providers. This is Fox News at 9.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Robin Robinson.
And I'm Walter Jacobson. And first on Fox News tonight, angry parents demanding answers and action after a school is shut down, St. Charles East High School. It's closed for the week after toxic mold was found inside. And the parents want to know tonight if the mold is a health threat to their children and what may be being done to clean it up. Our Nancy Pender is live in St. Charles right now with the latest.
Walter, that meeting broke up about 10 minutes ago. Tonight, the campus auditorium that you see behind me was filled to capacity. Hundreds of parents and students showed up here tonight to hear what school and district administrators had to say about those two toxic molds that have forced the closure of this campus. This, say students and even some teachers, is what has been making them sick. So far, 8 classrooms and a theater have been infiltrated by 2 forms of toxic mold that last Saturday, with the help of a lawsuit, forced district administrators at St. Charles East High School to temporarily close the school. That extended spring break for another week. The only students back on campus today were those on the track or baseball teams.
I think might affect our track team, but as long as we keep going to practices, that's all I really care about right now. School can be off for all I care.
This is really bad, actually. I can't really take being out of a week of school. I mean, we've already been out a week for spring break. I'm starting to forget things.
His concern was shared by throngs of parents and students who turned out for an informational meeting at the school's Cultural Arts Center, one of 2 campus buildings not affected by the toxic mold. School principal Nina Narozny invited attendees to ask their questions on note cards that were dispersed through the auditorium.
I think it's more of a problem than people have been led to believe, which is very shocking. It's been going on for almost 10 years now. I think a lot of people are under the assumption that it's a very recent problem.
I'm not real happy, no. I don't know why all of a sudden, the kids have been going here for years and years, and now it's a big emergency.
The 2 toxic molds that have been thriving on campus cause serious headaches, nausea, chronic fatigue, among other ailments. Tonight, school and district officials tried to convince this concerned crowd that public safety won't be compromised.
Therefore, in order to provide the uninterrupted time and space needed for a thorough study, it was decided to suspend classes for a week.
District officials say further inspection will determine if more mold exists beyond the current hot spots. If it does, that may necessitate closing the school even longer. In that event, the school is now looking at options for classroom space, such as perhaps using a nearby school or even a theater. Reporting live from St. Charles, I'm Nancy Pender, Fox News Chicago.
Okay, Nancy, kind of a mess out there.
Quite a mess, yes it is.
Well, the search is on tonight for a South Side woman whom police say left 7 children home alone. An anonymous tip led officers to a home on South Drexel late last night. When they entered the home, they found 7 children between the ages of 3 and 10 and no adults around. Police say the apartment was a mess with drug paraphernalia and boxes of bullets scattered about. The children were checked out at a hospital and then taken into protective custody.
There were plenty of fireworks tonight at a town meeting in the suburb of Justice. The meeting was called to brief the residents there about the recent sexual assault of 4 girls, all under the age of 8. The attacks allegedly occurred at the Sterling Estates Mobile Home Park. 62-year-old Jack Buss has been arrested and charged with criminal sexual assault and abuse. At the meeting tonight, residents charge the police are not doing enough to protect their children.
I don't feel safe. How are my kids going to feel safe? If we don't, as adults, feel safe, how are our kids going to feel safe?
I see 14 and 15-year-old girls walking up and down these streets, and guess where they end up in? The empty homes. What about you parents keeping an eye on these kids?
The police are responding to all that by saying they will beef up patrols in the area, but they say they cannot win the war on crime without help from the people who live there.
Rain and snow may not stop the postman from his appointed runs, but gangs apparently can. Mail delivery has been suspended in some parts of Fort Heights because of a gang war. Now that village in the southern suburbs is adding extra security to make sure the mail can get through. Our John Dempsey is live at the post office in Chicago Heights, which handles mail for the area. John.
Good evening, Robin. You know that, as you mentioned, the Postal Service motto says that the mail carriers will do their job through rain, sleet, or gloom of night, but it doesn't say anything about gunshots fired by gangbangers who residents here say are destroying their lives and denying them something that most of us take for granted: simple mail service. The mail has not been delivered for 4 days to residents of this public housing development in Fort Heights. That's because of near constant gunfire from rival gangs in the area.
When my kids hear gunshots and they hit the floor, they're immediately hitting the floor because they're saying, "Mom, they're shooting, let's get on the floor." And I just don't think that kids should be raised like that.
Denise Pearson says the gunshots have been relentless, even happening in the daytime when her children are going to and from school.
And after they went to school, it was some more shooting. Then it was some shooting around 2:30 where they was coming home. So it began to go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and that's when we weren't getting any mail after Tuesday. And I was like, well, why are we not getting any mail?
Mail carriers in neighboring Chicago Heights deliver to Fort Heights, and the Chicago Heights postmaster says she halted deliveries to that area last week because of safety concerns.
Well, my main concern really is to be sure that every customer receives a delivery of mail every day. And my main concern also is that Carrie is safe while he's out there trying to do his or her job.
After meeting with the Fort Heights mayor and police chief, Mary Gordon decided to resume mail delivery temporarily, with police helping to protect the carrier on his rounds. Denise Pearson says while she's glad she'll get mail again, she'd like a long-term solution to the violence that plagues her life.
The problem is that we still have gangs and violence that needs to be addressed and needs to be addressed now before someone gets killed.
And police protection starts tomorrow for that mail carrier who delivers to that housing complex where Denise Pearson lives. The postmaster, Mary Gordon, says if the violence continues, she would like to see some kind of centralized drop-off point, probably the Fort Heights Village Hall, where residents can go to get their mail. Live in the south suburbs, John Dempsey, Fox News Chicago. Back to you in the studio.
Okay, John, thank you. Tensions remain high tonight between the United States and China over that Navy spy plane that landed on a Chinese island. We've learned that 2 of the plane's 24 crew members are from here in Illinois. They are Navy Seaman Jeremy Crandall from Poplar Grove near Rockford and Marine Sergeant Richard Prey from Geneseo in western Illinois. An EP-3 turboprop looking like this one collided with a Chinese fighter jet over the weekend. It managed to land safely, and the crew has now reported that it is safe. The president is demanding that American officials have immediate access to the plane and to the crew, but China says that won't happen until at least tomorrow night.
I am troubled by the lack of a timely Chinese response to our request for this access. Our embassy officials are on the ground and prepared to visit the crew and aircraft as soon as the Chinese government allows them to do so.
The Pentagon has ordered 3 Navy destroyers to stay near that island.
Here at home, the Girl X trial will go to the jury tomorrow. Both sides wrapped up closing arguments in the case today. The judge will give the jury instructions tomorrow morning. 29-year-old Patrick Sykes is charged with beating and raping the child known only as Girl X. The defense claims prosecutors did not present one piece of physical evidence to link Sykes to the crime. Prosecutors countered by saying Girl X herself identified Sykes as her attacker. If convicted on all counts, Sykes could be sentenced to more than 500 years in prison. Work crews have put up barricades outside a downtown building where pieces of concrete have started to fall off. Pedestrian access has been blocked in front of the building in the 100 block of East Ohio, which is just east of Michigan. Concrete started to fall from the building on Sunday. No one has been hurt, though. City workers plan to put up a protective canopy around that building tomorrow.
And this was the day that hope springs eternal for baseball fans here in Chicago and around the country. Opening day for both the Cubs and the White Sox. Our Corey McFerrin is here with that story.
You gotta love it, absolutely. One team out to prove last season was an aberration. The other team out to prove theirs was not. The Cubs and White Sox slide into opening day with vastly different points of view. But opening day is special, no matter how many games you won or lost the season before. We begin at Wrigley Field.
Hey, program scorecard media guide here.
So what if they lost 97 times last year? They're in first place today. And so they came, as they always do. The fans, like the players, brimming with confidence only a new season can create.
Believe me, we're going to surprise a lot of people because the condition that we have and we are prepared physically and mentally, it's going to happen.
Wayne Messmer belts out a perfect rendition of the anthem. Former Cubs broadcaster Steve Stone delivers the ceremonial first pitch, and we are ready for baseball. Kind of. John Lieber's second pitch of the game, rocked by Jose Vidro. This after Peter Bergeron singles on Lieber's opening toss. 2-0 Expos. Gets better. After falling behind 4-1, Joe Girardi, base hit. This caps a 3-run sixth, drives in the third run of the inning, game tied at 4. Another big hit would not be forthcoming. Although newcomer Bill Miller nearly plays the role of hero in the ninth. With Eric Young on third and 1 out, the line shot, stabbed by Lee Stevens.
For a half a second, did you think you'd lined it over his head?
Oh, right off the bat. You know, I'm thinking positive right off the bat.
Even when we got behind, you know, guys felt like we were going to come back. So we did, and we just didn't get that extra run to win the game.
The Expos win it in the 10th. Vladimir Guerrero's hot shot, too much for Ricky Gutierrez. It's a base hit and drives in the game winner 5-4 Montreal.
I know we came out a little bit short today, but I feel great about it because, you know, we proved that we can, you know, we're ready and we can compete against anybody. But it was a great game. Today was about pitching.
And pitching the focus in Cleveland today as David Wells and the Sox open against the Indians. Wells awakens with the flu today, barely able to take the mound. Couldn't tell here as he K's Juan Gonzalez to get out of trouble in the first. Wells would give up just 4 hits over 6 innings. This while the Sox sticks do their thing. Jose Valentin in the 6th, the blast off the wall. This the Sox already up 6-2 thanks in part to Mags Ordonez's 3-run homer. Ray Durham scores. Valentin caught in the rundown of little consequence as Wells and the Sox persevere 7-4.
It's not the issue, it's a game, man. We went out there, the guys played great, you know, scored the runs we needed. We got the plays we needed, and you know, I think that's a good sign from you know, what they accomplished last year to what they did today. You know, they came in here just you know, showing no remorse towards anything, just go out there and beating guys up, and you know, I'm proud to be a part of this.
Maybe he's like Michael. Maybe he's better when he's sick, right? Much more on David Wells' extraordinary day coming up in sports. Guys, we'll see you back in about a half hour.
We feel like no other teams played today, just ours.
You better believe it.
Thank you, Corey.
All right. Also coming up in just a minute, I'll have an opening day story at Wrigley Field with a happy ending. I'll tell you about a 99-year-old woman who, with a little help from our viewers, was able to continue a long time tradition. Her story coming up in Perspective.
Well, you know, the first week in April is not all that reliable around here compared to some opening days in the past. The temperature at Wrigley Field really was not too bad today. Steve Shields off tonight. Let's go to Harry Volkman for a first look at the weather. Hi, Harry.
Hi there. And, Robin, I'll tell you, it was one of those days that we say on this headline, hooray! Or, as Harry Carey might have said, holy cow! Anyway, the temperature finally reached 60 today for the first time this year. And if that's not enough, by Friday, we expect it to be up to around 70. There's a temporary cooling coming off the lake tonight. You see the temperatures in the 40s and 50s a little bit, but to the north 30s. But that won't last too long. And the rain has been held off for a while, so we'll tell you the good news a little bit later on. Back to you, Robin and Walter.
Barry, a Major League Baseball legend, a star, is missing for several days now, and he's been arrested.
Plus, a tennis superstar takes the witness stand at the trial of a man accused of stalking her.
Can't get DSL service to your home computer? Does it take forever to get online with your cable or dial-up modem? I'm Danielle Serino, and I'll tell you about one company that says it's got a service better than all of them, and you can get it within a week. That's on the bottom line.
But first, more charges out in Cicero on the eve of the election for that town's president. We'll have that story next on Fox News Chicago.
Why are RE/MAX agents so successful? They're born with it.
She's gifted.
RE/MAX.
Sorry about that.
Our mistake. Sorry.
The new Passat. It only looks like $1 million.
Can you pass the mac and cheese? Mom did a good job setting the table.
How about some food worth slowing down for? Like one of our 12 delicious Boston Market low-fat meals for just $5.79. Boston Market. Slow down.
Coming up, why not put a little spring in your step? Our tips will help make you born to run when Fox News returns.
We have a town I'd pass every day that did not have clean drinking water. The water from that open reservoir was going into their homes. I'm extremely happy that Walmart was able to step in and help with a clean water grant for a new water system.
Now they can open that faucet up and take a good glass of fresh water.
Giving this town fresh, clean drinking water. It was just the right thing to do.
That means a lot, believe me.
Announcing ATA's Kids and Seniors Sale. ATA makes it easy to get away to your favorite destinations. Kids sale fares start from just $69 and senior sale fares start from just $89. With our low fares and non-stop flights, there's no reason not to go. So pick your destination, pack up the family, and have some fun. Just buy your tickets by April 13, 2001. Call 1-800-I-FLY-ATA today.
Voters in Cicero will go to the polls tomorrow in the hotly contested race for town president. Betty Lauren Maltese is hoping to fend off a challenge from Joseph Moreno, who even today, on the eve of the election, was leveling new accusations against the incumbent. Our Larry Yellen has the story.
Even here in Cook County, there have been few elections as contentious as the one for Cicero Village president. Democratic challenger Joseph Moreno, a Cook County commissioner, claims Republican incumbent Betty Lauren Maltese is using threats, fraud, and intimidation to hold on to her office.
This intimidation and harassment is going to stop today. If not, people will be filling up the jails tomorrow.
No surprise that in a contest with this much mudslinging, there were last-minute allegations today. Moreno says his supporters' cars have been vandalized and voters have been fraudulently registered.
We have canvassed the whole town, every single precinct, every single address. People who have moved are still voting from old addresses. Some voters apparently live in parking lots or abandoned buildings.
Moreno's campaign says this is one example of a fraudulent registration, that the 1625 South Laramie address doesn't exist. But the Republican camp says the 5 should have been a 3, a mistake, but not a conspiracy.
Actually, I called the person who registered these people. They said they're the owners of a tavern. They live on the 2nd floor, and the address that the county clerk put down is the parking lot for the tavern.
Nearly 25,000 Cicero residents are expected to vote tomorrow. The town is nearly 80% Hispanic, but Republicans are confident that Moreno has failed to generate enthusiasm even among his fellow Mexican Americans. Betty Lauren Maltese believes she will win the Hispanic vote and the general vote as well. Larry Yellen, Fox News, Chicago.
We have word tonight of a bureaucratic mix-up that may have contributed to a deadly plane crash last week in Colorado.
That story tops our news briefs. Just days before the crash in Aspen, Colorado, the government ordered that planes not be allowed to make instrument landings at night at that airport. But apparently that order never reached air traffic controllers. All 18 people on board an executive jet were killed when the jet slammed into a hillside while trying to land at night. Even daytime landings at Aspen are difficult because the mountains force pilots to make very steep descents.
In Washington, D.C. today, the U.S. Senate approved sweeping legislation aimed at reducing the influence of big money in political campaigns. The Campaign Finance Reform Bill passed by a margin of 59 to 41. It will ban so-called soft money contributions to political parties by unions, corporations, and individuals. It also will ban certain types of broadcast ads close to Election Day. The bill now goes to the House.
8 people were arrested after disturbances at the Purdue University campus in West Lafayette, Indiana last night. Tempers boiled over after the women's basketball team lost the NCAA championship game to Notre Dame. People set fire to dumpsters, broke windows, and threw rocks at police. However, there were no reports of any injuries.
And Darryl Strawberry is under arrest tonight after his disappearance from a drug treatment center. He had been missing for 4 days from the center, which is in Florida, where he was under house arrest. He was taken into custody tonight at St. Joseph's Hospital in Tampa. Earlier today, there were reports that Strawberry had been kidnapped.
Tennis star Martina Hingis went face-to-face today with a man accused of stalking her. Hingis testified today at the trial of Dubravko Racevic in Miami. She told how he followed her around to matches around the world and that he would call her. Her agent told him Hingis had a boyfriend and was not interested in him. Hingis said she never returned any of his phone calls.
Because at that time, I didn't want to talk to, somebody I didn't know. I didn't want to get in touch with anyone. It's like stranger to me.
Racevic says he never meant Hingis any harm. If convicted, he faces up to a year in jail.
Time for a break, and then coming up, a proposal to limit the times when teenagers may drive.
Plus, it's time to dust off those running shoes. But before you start out, we have some important tips to help avoid injury.
I feel very good.
Yeah?
I'm ready to race now.
A happy ending to a story I told you last week about a 99-year-old woman who wanted tickets for opening day at Wrigley Field but couldn't get them. The story coming up in perspective.
Also, it's been a bumpy ride for airline passengers recently. Airlines have promised to improve service. We'll tell you if they've succeeded.
Dave Thomas has a dilemma. How to decide which sandwich to introduce, the Chicken Bacon Swiss or the Bacon Swiss Cheeseburger. Well, he's going to do it scientifically.
Here's his chicken. Tails is the cheeseburger.
Both are topped with hickory smoked bacon and tangy Swiss. One's on a quarter pound of fresh beef, and the other's on Wendy's whole chicken breast filet. Introducing both. Wendy's new Bacon Swiss Cheeseburger and Chicken Bacon Swiss.
The Sonata from Hyundai, with the freedom of America's best warranty plan. 10 years, without a care in the world.
Get 0.9% APR financing on the Sonata now.
Coming up, it could help cut back on automobile accidents, but teenage drivers may not like the idea. When Fox News returns.
It's the shocking truth about Bob. That 70s Show.
Tuesday at 7.
Sinuses.
Tomorrow on Fox News in the morning.
Well, it's been a nasty campaign. Now it's up to the voters to choose Cicero's next town president.
Plus, do you have what it takes to survive our boot camp? Tune in for Clue 5 and you could win a punt.
On vacation.
And our parenting expert answers your toughest questions.
I'm going to be a veterinarian. I want to be a herpetologist. He studies reptiles and snakes and lizards. Oh. You snakes. What? What? You're cracking me up. How? Because your little voice.
This is State Treasurer Judy Bart Topinka for Bright Start. Call for details today.
A lot of things your dealer can do. We can do.
Rattle, rattle, thunder, clatter, boom, boom, boom.
CarX. More than you thought, for less than you'd think.
Don't worry, call the CarX man.
Right now, CarX is offering 50% off lifetime guaranteed brake shoes and pads. CarX.
The running season is here, and we appropriately have some important running safety tips.
Also, a proposal to put the clamps on teen driving. Margaret Shortridge joins us with tonight's Fox Family and Health Report. Margaret?
Kind of an interesting idea, Walter and Robin, restricting when teenagers can drive may be a way to cut down on car accidents. A study in pediatrics recommends restricting nighttime driving for teens. The researchers looked at car accidents in one state and found a disproportionate number of teens were involved in multi-vehicle crashes, and many of those occurred between 11 at night and 6 in the morning. Experts say switching to spinach instead of iceberg lettuce in sandwiches is a great way to improve your health. Spinach is higher in vitamin C and A as well as folic acid, and many people don't notice a taste difference. Researchers fed 40 people fast food hamburgers and tacos. Each got some with lettuce and some with spinach, and no one noticed a difference. More than 16,000 people were off and running yesterday in the Shamrock Shuffle, but if you weren't one of them, well, it's not too late to lace up and get started. We've got some tips on how to do it safely. The Shamrock Shuffle yesterday marked the start of Chicago's outdoor running season. But wait a minute. Before you rev up your Reeboks and hit the pavement, you should know this also marks the unofficial start of the injury season.
Particularly as we go from winter to spring season, you start to get into people that want to rush into their times of the previous year and their distances of the previous year, and then they start getting into injuries where they just beat up muscles that aren't used to being beat up.
Dr. Vinu Akathodo and trainer John Sweeney work at the Center for Spine and Sport at the Rehabilitation Institute of Chicago. They see a lot of things like knee tendonitis, shin splints, and foot problems this time of year as people take their running outdoors. So if you've spent your winter working out inside in the nice cozy confines of a gym and you're ready to take it outside, there are a couple of things you need to be on the lookout for.
Once you start running outside, you got to start dealing with the elements, and your body has to start dealing with the elements.
That means fabrics that draw sweat away from the body. And Sweeney says proper stretching is also a must to warm up tight muscles.
Pull in the stomach and tighten the butt. And again, this is just stabilizing this area, and she should be feeling it in the calf.
And watch your form. We had Dr. Akathodo critique this woman's running style. How's she doing?
She's doing great. There's a few things to note with her running style. One is that she bends forward at her waist, so she's not straight up and down.
So watch your posture. Your chest bones should not be pointed forward, but up. Also, have good shoes, drink plenty of water, and keep your spirits up. But for many, running already does just that.
Tremendous high.
I enjoy the rush you get from just the physical adrenaline.
Well, the one thing you need to be on the lookout for is a stress fracture. If you get one of those, it could end your running season just as soon as it began. Walter and Robin?
I look for the rush to get finished with the running, okay? Thank you, Margaret.
You're welcome.
Tomorrow, voters in South Suburban Crete are set to re-elect a woman who may be the oldest elected official in the country. Emma Schweer is the Crete Township Collector. She is 104 years old. She took over the post from her husband when he died in 1965. Schweer, a Republican, is such an electoral force to be reckoned with that the Democrats haven't even tried to run an opponent against her for the last 12 years.
I'm thankful that I have my own mind, you know, and I can get around. Of course, I'm not driving a car no longer. I drove that until last year when I was 103.
Wow. Schweer has few responsibilities with her position. Actually, she doesn't have any. Will County took over tax collections a few years ago, so her post is really just ceremonial. It's also unpaid, but it's wonderful to see how sharp she is.
I would say so. Coming up in a minute, some anxious moments for a world-famous magician.
Also, Mariah Carey cashes in on what may be the biggest recording contract ever.
And before Harry Volkman's forecast, we'll tell you about more headaches for commuters. Another major construction project gets underway on a local expressway.
This portion of Fox Family and Health is brought to you by TJ Maxx.
You know it never fails. The temperature changes and I hate everything in my closet. Goodbye, black. Hello, pink. It's my season of color. My favorite designer. For next to nothing. It's my season of paisley. It's my season of daisies. A whole new wardrobe. I love spring cleaning. TJ Maxx, you should go.
Excuse me, folks. There's a car in the parking lot with its lights on. It's silver. It looks new.
Introducing the all-new Kia Optima, available with a V6 engine, leather interior.
Well, looks like someone got a new car.
Plus a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. It's an extraordinary car at an extraordinary price.
Hey, Frank, isn't this your car? It is, isn't it?
The new Optima. Who wouldn't be proud? Kia. Darn good cars with a darn good warranty.
Coming up, in perspective, she may be the Cubs' oldest fan. Hear how her ticket dilemma was fixed with Walter's help when Fox News returns.
Stay. Stay. Oh, won't you stay just a little bit longer? Oh, won't you play just a little bit more?
You know, a Wisconsin vacation can last as long as you'd like. With so much to do, why not stretch it out?
Gonna take a little time, gonna leave it all behind and stay, yeah. Oh, won't you stay just a little bit longer? Oh, won't you play?
For your free Wisconsin getaway guide, call 1-800-432-TRIP or visit travelwisconsin.com.
A 6-month construction project began today on the Bishop Ford Expressway. Eastbound commuters will have to deal with one lane from Cottage Grove to Stony Island. Westbound traffic will be down to one lane from 107th Street to Cottage Grove. The $11 million project is scheduled to be finished on October 31st, just in time for winter.
Well, we've got no more winter, right? This is it?
I think so.
70 degrees by next weekend?
By this Friday, we could hit 70. That'd be great.
It'll be fabulous.
There'll be budding bushes and daffodils and all those wonderful things. Let's take a look right now at Chinatown. Tonight, coming up on our screen, I don't know if there's any particular holiday right now, but it's a great place to go and eat and have fun and tour and take the visitors, the family. Well, tonight it is cooling a little bit. The wind off the lake, it picked up, but then it's kind of calming down now. We went up to 60 today for the first time this year. The low this morning was 30. That's a pretty good jump, isn't it? The normal high is 53. And weathermen took a back seat on this date in 1963, even though we set a record of 82, because that was a big day in Chicago. Our present mayor, Richard M. Daley's father, Richard J. Daley, was overwhelmingly elected to his third term in office in City Hall, and Len O'Connor was talking all about it. Anyway, in 1899, it was 18 above. Note the sunset 7:20 now. It's great to have these long days, isn't it? We got 46 now officially at O'Hare, wind north only 3 miles an hour, and the pressure is rising, so we've got some pretty nice weather. Here are conditions showing the 30s, southern Wisconsin, where there was a little rain and snow this morning along the state line. Didn't get down much at all into our region. 40s in the city and still in the 50s, almost 60 down here, still down in the Kankakee area and south. It hit 62 today at Midway, but Wrigley Field was only in the 40s. You could tell the way the people were wrapped up because the wind is off the lake, and it'll still be that way the rest of the week. So inland's going to be way up in the 50s and low 60s and even reaching 70, whereas the lakefront will stay in the 40s. The wind now is from the north at 3 miles per hour, and once again, there are those temperatures. Let's move away from that and see what the Midwest shows. It's freezing up in northern Minnesota and the 50s down to the south. Getting out of that right now into the map, this doesn't show a great deal, but we put it in effect anyway. The high is the main thing in the southeast, pumping in the warm air, shown by this red arrow. But there's another major high in Canada, which seems to be influenced also by intense solar activity in the ionosphere, works its way down and produces a lot of high pressure up in that area. It bogs out the west and keeps the low stuck in the Rockies. Going to make a lot of snow out there and winds and everything even into the southwest in California in the next several days. It's an abnormal kind of airflow, but it happens in the spring, especially when you get one of those big highs. And you see the moisture that's downstate Illinois. If you're going down around St. Louis and Marion and Carbondale, you'll be in rain, and also to the north of Milwaukee. There's a little bit of rain mixed in with some snow. Moving a little bit closer on the radar screen, you see how that is working from west to east across our region. Temperatures tonight look like that for lows, and tomorrow's highs. Chicago's missing on there, but you know what it's like because you're here already. Let's go 35 to 40 for tonight with cloudy skies and turning a little colder. Winds northeast 10 to 15. Then tomorrow, it will be a cooler day with morning clouds. Note the big difference. The lakefront will be about 43, but you get inland, it'll be around 58. Winds northeast 10 to 20. And then for Wednesday, we've got another 58. The winds will diminish a little bit there. Then the showers that we heralded last night will arrive probably Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And note lightning in there. We expect thunder showers here Friday and Saturday, which is typical of early April. That's it.
Thank you, Harry.
Right.
The magician David Copperfield is recovering after he collapsed during a rehearsal.
That story topping our People in the News tonight. Copperfield was rushed to a hospital in New York after he collapsed on the set of his upcoming special. His publicist says that Copperfield had been preparing for 40 hours straight, 48 hours in fact. He was not admitted to the hospital and we are told is expected to be okay.
And published reports say Mariah Carey has signed the biggest recording contract of all time. Carey had been asking for $25 million per album from Virgin Records. No word on the actual amount they settled upon, but the New York Daily News reports that she will get more than the $20 million being paid to Janet Jackson and REM. Still ahead, the latest wrangling over watching Cubs games from rooftops.
Also, a 99-year-old woman gets her opening day wish, thanks to the generosity of a viewer of Fox News. I'll have that story in perspective.
This portion of Fox Weather is brought to you by Barclays Global.
So, maybe we'll talk about that later.
Large caps have capped. And if large caps have capped, that must mean market momentum is moving towards mid-caps. Except that the major movers are mixed on mid-caps and more inclined to maneuver to microcaps.
Microcaps.
As small a cap as a cap can get, if a small cap can get small. Now go make us some money.
Diversify with hundreds of stocks in a single trade. Ask your advisor about building a financial plan with iShares.
Attention parental units. Now is the time to save on a new Ford Windstar. 0.9% financing for 60 months saves you $5,900 in interest. 0.9 for 60 on a Ford Windstar. The first minivan to earn our government's quadruple 5-star safety rating. Fulfill your duty. And get to your local Ford store now. Hey, wait for me!
Hold it!
Thanks.
21, please.
Like playing around with stuff? Well, at Best Buy, you can play around with anything you want. Actually, that's half the fun. Best Buy, go ahead, turn on the fun.
Change things up. Where can you always go to expect the unexpected? McDonald's new taste menu.
And right now, one of the newest tastes at McDonald's is our hot, delicious McChicken sandwich. A tender filet of fried chicken with crisp lettuce and mayonnaise on a warm bun, just 99 cents for a limited time.
The new taste menu. The place to look when you're looking for a change.
We love to see you smile.
Come in for a hot, delicious McChicken sandwich today.
Well, the friendly confines were not so friendly today when it came to watching baseball from rooftops. New city safety codes forced the closing of several of those popular viewing spots. We first told you last week that the owners and property managers were under the gun to meet new city requirements. The Department of Revenue tells us only about half of the rooftop sites are up to code. That's left the rest scrambling to try to get the work done. Those who met the deadline are happy to get the green light from the city.
It's not like opening up a regular retail shop. This is a unique thing that the city has cooperated with us on, and we work very hard at accomplishing.
The Cubs' next home game is Wednesday. The venues that could not open today hope to do so by then. But of course, they missed opening day. About the Chicago Cubs today at Wrigley Field, though, we have more than just a baseball story to tell. We also have a story about the bleachers and who, at the very last minute, got a ticket to get in Walter's Perspective.
It's a wonderful story, Robin, with a happy ending, which I am especially happy to tell because it is not often in this business that we get one with a happy ending. This one's about a little lady, hardly 5 feet tall, and 100 pounds wringing wet. Her name is Carmela Hartigan. She says it's okay to call her a little old lady because she is 99. She's a bleacher bum and says it's okay to call her that, too, since she's been sitting in the bleachers for 50 years. Every opening day, she says, for the past 20 years.
And I thought I would live.
She was on our news here last week telling me a sad story about why this year on opening day she would not be in the bleachers.
I stood in line 3 hours for a ticket, and I couldn't get one. When you can't buy a ticket, one gets you in, you can't sneak in. They claim they're all filled up. I can't even get a standing room ticket.
As hard as she tried, and as long as she stood in line, she couldn't get a ticket. By the time I finished telling her story on the news last week, my voicemail was filled. One message was from a ticket broker by the name of Dan from Gold Coast Tickets, who went to Carmela's house over the weekend to give her a ticket for the bleachers for opening day.
I brought you 4 tickets.
Oh, gift for my son.
4 bleacher tickets. Opening day.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you. Oh, now I have my whole family up there.
And she did. Came back to Wrigley this morning, tickets in her pocket. Since 1988, she has been in the bleachers for every game played at Wrigley Field.
I feel very good. Yeah? I'm ready to race hell. Way up there where I'm going to sit. I hope they win. But if we don't, tomorrow's another day.
She didn't like what she saw from the bleachers today. The Cubs lost the opener. But as she said, tomorrow is another day. And she had a terrific time with her son and daughter-in-law and her bleacher bum pals. Glad to have met you, Carmela, and I'm happy you got a ticket to the game today and had a good time. And Carmela, thank you for a story with a happy ending.
Coming up, flight delays, bumped passengers, lost baggage. The nation's airlines said they'd address those nagging problems, but a new survey shows they still have a long way to go. Plus, hitting traffic jams on the information superhighway, we'll look at ways to speed up our internet connection.
Will Titus's parents get back together?
That ship has sailed.
It was captured by pirates, set on fire, and crashed on the rocks.
Titus.
Tuesday at 7:30 on Fox Chicago.
Last Wednesday, over 22 million viewers fell in for the most intense reality series ever. Boot Camp, Fox style.
Men don't use these anymore. No, sir!
Discover why America can't stop talking about boot camp.
McSweeney spits all over you. I can't stand him. I don't even think his mother loves him.
Wednesday at 8 on Fox Chicago.
I wish we could be that organized.
People like that never have fun. They're uptight.
They don't seem that uptight.
Honey, can you help me clean? They're your parents.
Now the game's tied.
Tell you what, when you've used up this one sheet of Brawny, you can quit cleaning.
Really? Excellent.
Brawny has scrubbing circles for scrubbing strength. And Brawny's tight weave construction means you'll have to stop scrubbing long before Brawny does.
Honey, what kind of paper towel is this?
It's Brawny, dear.
Brawny, it might be too strong.
Hello, Alex. I've left something for you. Critics are calling Along Came a Spider the year's best suspense thriller.
That's a message. I'm ruthless. I'm in control.
Intense and mesmerizing.
He's turned it into a game.
A knockout with a surprise twist. It will keep you glued to your seat. You won't want it to end. Morgan Freeman is electrifying. Along Came a Spider.
The mind is a terrible thing.
Rated R. Starts Friday in theaters everywhere.
Gentlemen, we can rebuild him. We have the technology. Better than he was before. Better, stronger, faster.
Introducing the all-new 270-horsepower Chevy Trailblazer, the most powerful mid-size sport utility in the world. It's one strong SUV. The new 2002 Chevy Trailblazer, like a rock.
Operation Push has begun a door-to-door campaign to help people who are having trouble paying their gas bills. The Reverend Jesse Jackson went to the homes of several people who are facing shutoffs of service for failing to pay those bills. There are at least 20,000 such people, many of them elderly, who just don't understand the payment system being offered by People's Energy. The company has extended the deadline for shutting off service to April 16, but Jackson says that won't solve the problem.
Their plan must take into account, A, the people cannot pay the radical rise in costs, and B, the payment plan represents relief but does not represent remedy.
He visited a bill payment center today where he prayed with people waiting in line. He says the state and federal governments must step forward to help the poor and the elderly pay their bills.
We have some advice if you're looking for a faster internet service.
Also, more turbulent times for the nation's airlines. Danielle Serino joins us now with tonight's bottom line.
Here's a news flash, Walter and Robin. Airline flights are being delayed more than ever. A study by professors at the University of Nebraska and Wichita State say that despite promises by the airline industry, more flights are late, more passengers are bumped, and more baggage is being mishandled. Delta, Alaska, and Southwest rank the highest rating for passenger service among major airlines. America West and United received the lowest rating. Now, as the consumer reporter here, I hear a lot of complaints from viewers about their internet hookups. Well, I hear a lot of complaints about everything. But with the internet service, it's either they can't get DSL in their area, they've been waiting for service for months, or their cable lines keep cutting them off when they're online. There may be a solution, though, to internet interruptus, and the provider says it only takes a week to install. It may be called the information superhighway, but how many times have you been stuck in this kind of bumper-to-bumper traffic jam?
They just say goodbye, bang, gone. You have to re-sign on again.
Or what about connections that are so slow, you feel like you're driving off-road in reverse?
I've tried Napster and my computer just times out. It doesn't work as fast.
Chicagoans with a thirst for speed can hang up on Ameritech and AT&T and look instead to the Sears Tower for service.
Very clear, very quick, no interruptions. And I normally get interruptions with the cable modem.
Ezra Sanders just signed up with Sprint Broadband Direct, high-speed internet service that beams data wirelessly from Chicago's tallest tower to your home.
You place a little receiver on the top of the home, and pending line of sight issues, you're able to transmit in broadband your data, voice and data.
And it's fast. Sprint claims it works at speeds 50 times faster than standard dial-up modems, even faster than DSL.
Over DSL, you'd be able to download about 2.1 songs per minute. Over wireless, the MMDS, you'd be able to download about 19 songs per minute.
Sanders is a computer support specialist who tried DSL, wireless, and cable internet hookups.
What I found out is that when I went in to send an email or something, it was half up, half down.
Cable, again, is a shared network, so your speeds are going to vary by the number of people that are on the network with you at the time.
With Broadband Direct, though, it's all about you and your own personal receiver, which is good for up to 35 miles away.
Wireless technology is better because it's going through the medium air. Air is not succumb to the same problems as running through wire.
But don't cut your cable or phone lines just yet. If your receiver doesn't line up with Sprint's, forget about service.
So it might not even be in this year.
Our producer couldn't get the service in Aurora. There have also been reports of a high error rate with modems, and once you've signed that contract, there are penalties for early withdrawal. Now, as always, I leave the cost to the end. The price for a month's service is comparable to DSL and cable hookups, which is $40 to $50 a month for residential service. But installation and equipment, not cheap. $99 if you want Sprint to do the software installation, free if you do it yourself. But for the receiver, $99 to $299, depending on your service agreement. So not cheap, maybe fast, but
those are one-time costs,
one
right?
of them is $99 one time, but the other one is for the month. You still have to pay your monthly service, which is $40 to $50 a month. Don't even go there.
Okay. He doesn't know anything about the
Thinking of
internet.
internet interruptus, is that what you mean?
Yes.
I'll be careful, okay?
He's never been on the internet. His whole life has been one big
I know,
internet
I was waiting
interruptus.
for the question I can't answer.
Final check on the weather coming up in just a minute.
Plus, we'll tell you about a whole new way to see a game and the fans at Wrigley Field.
I'm Corey McPherrin. We'll relive opening day at the Friendly Confines. Plus, a debut to remember for the big guy. David Wells, supposed to be the premier big game pitcher in the league, does nothing to spoil his reputation. The story from Cleveland just ahead.
The lowest prices of the season are here at Kohl's. Hurry in now to get incredible savings on hundreds of items store-wide, all at their lowest prices of the season. You'll be surrounded by more name brands, more sizes, more styles, and more colors, all at their lowest prices of the season. It's all going on now. Get everything your family needs at the lowest prices of the season, going on now at Kohl's. Kohl's, that's more like it.
Gentlemen, the Axiom has a 230 horsepower V6. Our commercial opens in New York City.
I love this town.
Then we go to Sweden to show up our dual mode suspension. For beauty shots, Maui at sunset. So, what do you think?
You wish.
Spruce up your home for spring with help from Menards. The Chamber Door Elite Storm and Screen Door has self-storing glass, brass hardware, and features a lifetime warranty. On sale in 3 colors, just $179. Aluminum railing from Imperial is pre-finished, pre-assembled, adjustable for steps, and will never rust. This 4-foot wide, 36-inch high section is on sale, just $39.99. Get maintenance-free savings at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
I was just expecting to pay off some credit card bills. All of a sudden, I'm being asked what my goals and dreams are.
If you're a homeowner and you call 1-800-CHAMPION for our Pay Down Your Debt program, we're going to show you some possibilities.
I was given this plan that shows me which bills to pay off with the most savings, how I can use the extra savings to buy a new car, renovate my kitchen, pay off my home sooner.
We call it our Possibilities Profile.
It's impressive.
Shouldn't you know all your possibilities? When your bank says no, Champion says yes.
Look better.
Feel better.
Live better.
It's your body, it's your life, and you can make it great.
So what's it gonna be?
What's it gonna be?
Join Valley Total Fitness right now and get started for just $19 down and only $19 a month. Call 1-800-FITNESS today and get the results you want. We've got all the cardio, equipment, and classes you'll need to make your body look and feel great.
Call Valley Total Fitness today.
It's just $19 down and only $19 a month.
Next time you play hooky from work to go to a Cubs game, be careful. Your boss may be able to check up on you. There's a new website that allows anyone to see who is in the stands. Go to perceptualrobotics.com and click on the area of the stands you want to check out. The pictures are updated every few seconds, so you can keep track of someone during the entire game. So from now on, people will be wearing wigs and glasses to Cubs games.
I saw a picture of myself. Somebody got a shot of me on doing the noon shot at 12:05 over was today. Unbelievable.
No privacy left.
No, anywhere you go, they're following you. I'm telling you.
Like the Indians are following David Wells, right?
And hopefully following them for a long time to come. That's our story. The guy could have begged off, could have easily said, no way, man, I'll go next week. But no. David Wells, despite flu-like symptoms today, presses on just like you'd expect him to. If he pitches like this when he's sick, the White Sox got the guy they need. Opening day at the Jake and a standing O for Sandy Alomar Jr., returning to the town he called home for 11 years. Second inning, game scoreless, Carlos Lee, little blooper right side, Juan Gonzalez on the run, but no! Paul Konerko, who doubled moments before heading for home, throw to second, nails Lee, but the Sox are on the board for the first time in the year 2001. Wells, who afterwards said he felt like somebody beat him up for 2 days, showing no signs of weakness, punches out Einar Diaz here to end the second, and the offense picks up where they left off last year. Sixth inning, Maglio Ordonez, and you got it with 2 aboard. Get out of here. Konerko with 3 hits and 2 RBIs. Sox win 7-4. Jill Carlson now with more on David Wells' auspicious debut.
You wouldn't have known it from the way he pitched, but apparently David Wells was severely under the weather today. He was suffering from either some sort of flu bug or perhaps food poisoning, and yet he still pitched 6 innings, giving up just 2 runs.
But everything was pretty much right there. The game was called very well. He did a good job behind the plate, and the thing is that when you get in a groove, what saved me was like the 3rd and 4th inning when I threw maybe 10, 12 pitches in those innings, so that helped out a lot.
They asked me, did I have a backup plan? I did not. I just felt that the history, it says that he's come in that way before and performed well, so we was relying on history versus really how he felt.
And on top of being sick, Wells was again heckled by Indians fans. It's been a mutual hate-hate relationship since Wells was pitching for the Yankees against the Indians during the '98 postseason.
Some assholes started popping off again, and it's a shame that people gotta, keep bringing my mother up, in this whole thing. You think that they would get over it, but, I had to go down there and just concentrate.
The White Sox say it sure is nice to start out the season with a 7-4 win against their division rivals, but they know they will still face them another 18 times this season, and there's 161 games to go in the regular season. In Cleveland, Jill Carlson, Fox News, Chicago.
All right, closer to home, they flock to the Shrine at Clark and Addison for opening day, number 126. Only 11 players remain from last year's opening day roster, and of course, that should be a good thing, although I'm not sure it's quite this good. If you want defense, how about this? Bill Miller, a big timer. What a play in the 4th. We take you to number 6 now. Cubs trail 4-1. Ricky Gutierrez, the rope to right. That'll score Sammy. 1 of 3 hits for Ricky. First of 3 runs to cross in the frame as the Cubs even it up at 4. Cubs blow a great chance to take the lead in the 8th. Matt Stairs whiffs for the 3rd time in the game. The first of 3 Cubs to strike out in the inning. Rondell White stranded after a leadoff double.
Of course you want to go out there and impress your teammates and the fans as much as possible, and that's usually when you suck. Which tonight I tried to hit the ball, off that 19, whatever that sign is, AC, whatever it is, and instead I whiffed 3 times.
Cubs also blow a great chance in the 9th, and in the 10th, Vlad Guerrero ends at the smash. Too much for Gutierrez, scores Jose Vidro, and that's it, 5-4 Montreal.
I'm pretty sure that ball was probably down and out of the strike zone. He's one of the only guys in Major League Baseball that has a reach like that. He's probably a cricket player somewhere.
The other major baseball flash of the day from Boston, and what a downer for Red Sox fans. Nomar Garciaparra, the 2-time AL batting champion, undergoes wrist surgery today. He'll be lost for 2 to 4 months. We got hockey for you. Dennis Savard and the Hawks in New Jersey taking on the Devils. Hawks take a 3-1 lead into the 3rd, but of course they can't hold it. Randy McKay, the rebound, he scores over through Steve Passmore. Savvy's still looking for that first win behind the bench. It's 4-3. Devils a winner. In the national title game tonight, Arizona trails Duke 68-61 with about 6 minutes to go. And once again, guys, congratulations to the Notre Dame women who won the national title last night over Purdue in a great game.
Congratulations to everybody who finally paid attention to that women's
You got it, and we should have, definitely. They deserve it.
That's our news for tonight. Thank you for being with us.
Fox News returns tomorrow morning at 5. Good night, everyone. Good night.
Closed captioning of Fox News Chicago is brought to you by Chrysler Voyager, America's lowest-priced minivan.
Gotta make it better. How can I make it better? I know I can make it better. Gotta make it better. Hey! My hat! Back with that hat! Hey! Hey! Come on! Get over here! I want my hat! Berries!
That's it! Introducing new blueberry and raspberry Breakstone's Cottage Doubles. Sam Breakstone's Cottage Cheese, now with real fruit topping.
Delicious! I'm a genius!
White Sox manager Jerry Manuel.
There's a moment in a team's life when experience, talent, chemistry, and desire all show up at the same time. When that happens, you're ready to make your run.
This is White Sox baseball.
The self-propelled Toro personal pace mower. It adjusts to your pace, however slow or fast that may be.
I'm Tamron Hall. Tomorrow morning at 7, it's been a nasty campaign. Now it's up to the voters to choose Cicero's next town president.
And tips from our parenting expert.